This week's Nightfall is the Glassway, which may cause teams a lot of troubles, and was also the GM that I ranked as the hardest GM in the game when I ranked them a while back. However, that won't stop me from helping you get a relatively easy completion of the strike. Today we're going to be covering the loadout, tips, and tricks you will want to know to crush the Glassway. So with that being said, I'm SniperKH, and let's dive into the guide. As per usual, let's dive into loadouts. This GM requires you and your team to cover barrier and overload champions. It will require you to take down solar and arc shields. Due to that, we're going to build a loadout that will allow your team to take these enemies down, even if you have someone die during the run. For loadouts, have players 1 and 2 run arbalest in their primary slot to easily take down barrier champs and to take down shields that you may not be able to take down otherwise. From there, have player 3 run a pulse rifle in their primary slot for barrier champs. For secondaries, have players 1 and 2 run a solar and arc scout rifle for the overload champs and the various shields in the GM. For player 3, have them run divinity for the most consistent overload stun in the game. Finally, have all 3 players run taipan in the heavy slot for the bonus damage thanks to its void singe. For subclasses, you'll want to opt for defensive and crowd control supers, so go for the following. For hunters, use the void subclass for easy access to invisibility. For titans, go with either the arc subclass or the void subclasses for access to either arc grenades or the banner shield super, and for warlocks, go for either the solar subclass for well or stasis subclass for great crowd control. Finally, run defensive mods and loosen finisher for an easier time in his GM. With that being said, let's dive into it. When starting the strike, your team might run into a public event flag in the opening area, so if you do, grab the flag and continue onwards. Once you've made it to the first load zone, clear out the adds that you'll first run into. From there, your team will have some smaller adds and an overload captain to take care of, so take the captain down, then the smaller adds. From there, push forward, clear out the rest of the adds on the cliff from a distance, then move on. Once you've made it past the cliffs, you'll run into the barrier section of the strike, where you need to clear 3 barriers to continue onwards. For the first barrier, your team will need to clear out some adds and kill 2 champions. Start by having a player drop down this small ledge to spawn the adds in, then once they've spawned in, have them jump back up. From there, have your warlock throw a stasis turn, if they are on stasis, in the area in which the turn is at in the video, as this will slow adds down a bit and allow you to deal with the overload champion that has pushed up on your team. Once your team has killed the overload champion and has taken down the set of adds that have spawned in, focus your attention to the barrier champ that will now spawn in the back of the room and kill him. From there, have your team clear out the rest of the adds that spawn in this little area to drop the barrier, then move forward. Once you make it to the second area, follow a similar process. Kill the adds that push you, kill the overload champion, then the barrier champ, then the mini boss. Then finish the area off by clearing out the rest of the adds to drop the second barrier. You'll once again want to repeat the previous process on the following set of adds, but have your hunter open the fight by tethering all of the adds together, where you'll then want to take down some of the shanks and sniper vandals before focusing the final mini boss. From there, have your team clear out the rest of the adds, including the newly spawned barrier servitor. Stun the barrier, kill the now vulnerable adds, then focus your attention on the servitor getting a finisher if necessary, then move on. Once you make it to the Slanted Platform area, have one player push up a bit to spawn the adds in, while your other 2 teammates sit back and kill the adds from a distance. Once all adds are dead, push up a bit to spawn in the new wave of adds, including an overload champion. Kill the adds first, then focus the overload getting a finisher if necessary. From there, push up a little bit further to spawn in the final wave of adds, including the final overload champion in this area. Stun the overload while killing most adds, then finish the overload once adds are dead. Once the overload is dead, kill the snipers at the end, and move on. The next part is one that will trip unprepared teams up, which is the plate part. You do not want to full send the progress here, as you will have adds spawn at certain progress points while on the plate, with each add spawn having more and more adds. The progress at which those adds spawn in is on screen now and should be respected. For the most part, have one player run to the plate to progress it, and have the other 2 players sit back behind these fallen barriers here. Once the progress percentage top left reaches one of the add spawn points that I mentioned earlier, have your player on the plate hop off to deal with the adds in a painless way. Once the plate is done and all adds have died, have your team drop down the left side to take care of the overload champion and the newly spawned dregs. Once those initial adds are dead, have your team slowly push forward while killing the vandals, big shanks, and barrier champion that will now spawn in. Be sure to use abilities to ensure your team gets through here safely. Once all adds are dead, move forward. The final room you will reach is the boss room, which is easily the hardest part of the GM. As I did it in the Season 18 version of this guide, I will not cover the cheese spot as it doesn't help at all. Once you've entered the room, have your team clear out the adds that will spawn in and kill the overload champ, and be sure to get a finisher for heavy ammo. Once all adds are dead, have your team run to the far left alleyway to try and spawn trap the adds that spawn from this Vex portal. Have your team throw grenades at the portal to ensure that the adds die immediately. Once those adds are dead, immediately run into the little hiding spot to your right, as you'll use this for the majority of the fight. Once your team is in the boss room, try and bait the second Overload champion into the little room, where you should then stun and melt it. Once the champ is dead, have your team drop the mini Hydra's health down to the point where it damage gates. Then begin to bait one of the 2 newly spawned Overload champs into the room, where you'll need to stun and kill it, while getting a finisher if necessary. From there, safely bait in the second Overload champ and do the same of stunning it and killing it. From there, clear out ads and damage the boss until immune. Once the boss goes away, have your team run into the left alleyway again to spawn trap ads once more. If your team doesn't have a tether, then feel free to pop another super to try and slow down the wyvern's progression. Once your team has killed most ads from the initial Vex portal, look for and kill the second set of ads from the other portal. Then set your attention to the 2 barrier hobgoblins, who should both be stunned and killed. Once the champs are dead, focus the mini Hydra until their health is at half, in which a new wave of ads will spawn. Have your hunter tether the ads together, then quickly kill them. Once a new wave of ads are dead, drop the boss's health down to where they are immune again. Once the boss goes away, once again meet up in the left alleyway to spawn trap the Overload champs and other ads. Once the first Overload is dead, bait the second in, and stun it and kill it while killing the rest of the ads that spawned in. From there, drop the big boss down to half health and repeat the exact same process over again, by spawn trapping the first Overload, then baiting the second one in and killing it. From there, drop the big boss down to a third of health, where they will disappear but then reappear with the smaller boss one more time, along with more Vex reinforcements. As per usual, try to spawn trap the first wyvern in ads, then bait the second wyvern in. Once they're both dead, kill the 2 champions and kill the smaller Hydra, which will spawn in one more set of ads. Once again, spawn trap the left side, then kill the rest of the ads, including the 2 barrier hobgoblins. Once all ads are dead, kill the other boss for an easy completion of the Glassway Grandmaster Nightfall. That'll wrap up the 5th season of the Seraph Grandmaster Nightfall guide. If you found it helpful, then consider dropping a like and subscribing to my channel for more Destiny 2 content dropping every week. If you want help with the GM or you want to come hang out with me, then I stream right here on YouTube and would love for you to stop by. Finally, follow me on my social media platforms linked in the description below. With that being said, I'm SniperKH, and I'm out. Good luck with gaming.